What up, YouTube? What's happening with you? It's been a minute. Been busy with the coaching thing, right? But it's your man back in the building. You know who I am. Your man, Gypsy Hustle, aka Mr. Make You Smile, aka the Happy Hatter, aka your man Chucky B. What's happening with you? Hey, listen, my voice is a little hoarse, yelling, coaching. Got some work to do, of course, but I got the Miami hat on today. All right, it's getting cold outside, right? Got the Miami hat on because the Miami Hurricanes are not the Miami Hurricanes of old. They lost to Florida International or somebody like that. That would never happen back in the day. Would never happen. But anyway, shout outs to anybody watching. A shout out to my man Sean Regadio, S Rags as I call him. Shout out to my man Sugar Reg, my NC State crew, everybody. All right. So we're going to hop right into it. It's been a minute, so we're going to talk about my man Antonio Brown, right? Antonio Brown has apologized to Robert Kraft and the Patriots, right? About his actions, I guess, whatever happened, I don't know. But should he be put back on the Patriots? Or should the Patriots come back to him? Now, the Patriots have had problems at receiver, you know what I'm saying? And we know the NFL is about winning. And the receivers can't seem to get open for New England. So should the Patriots bring him back? My personal opinion is, I think the accusations against him have not been proven. So I think, bring him back. You can't just accuse somebody of something without proof. But obviously you can. This is America. But obviously you can. But I think the Patriots should bring him back. Leave a question or leave your comment in the little thing down up under. So let's talk about it. But I think that he should be allowed back in the NFL. I mean, there have been people that have been playing in the NFL that have done worse, in my opinion. So, I think he should be allowed to play again. Even though I think Antonio Brown be bugging out. I think he bugged out on the Raiders to get out of there. I think he saw that they weren't as good as initially shown. But I do think that he should still be allowed to play. All right, next thing. Patrick Beverly was fined $5,000 for flopping. I'm trying to think if I like that or not. Flopping has always been a part of the NBA to me. For years, I played with a few floppers. I played with Vlade Divac, but I think that Vlade always got good position and then flopped it to try to accentuate the call. So I just think that the officials, if you don't see a guy get hit, if you don't see it as a charge, don't call it. So I think that the flopping kind of puts pressure on the officials. But the officials now, they have the little replay thing. If you want to go look at the replay, go look at the replay. You know what I'm saying? As an official, you can do that. I know you kind of want the games to flow and to move, but you also want to get the call right. I don't know if I necessarily agree with him getting fined $5,000 because if you're able to sell that call, it's just like selling a car. If they tell you this car is the greatest car on earth, and this car got probably maybe 1,000 miles left. They take you on a 5-mile drive of the car. The car rides good for 5 miles, right? So the next 995 miles, you decide, all right, I'm going to buy this car. And it breaks down, you bought a lemon. So same thing with the call, you bought a lemon. So I don't agree with Patrick Beverly being fined. I still think he's one of the hardest playing guys out there. So I disagree with the whole finding him $5,000 thing. All right, next thing. The NBA has talked about dropping the schedule down to 62 games. I'm totally against that. I mean, these guys making a lot of money, way more money than we made. If they're going to drop the schedule down to 62, they got to drop them salaries down too, because that's crazy to me. So I think the game should remain the same. Maybe cut the preseason instead of 8 games. Cut the preseason to 4 games. That's what they should do. They've already tried to eliminate the back-to-backs, which I get that. The back-to-backs are tough. The 4 games in 5 nights, that was tough. But cutting the schedule down to 62 games, come on, Adam Silver, don't do that one. Don't do that one because there's way too much money, being put into these games. Or the players are making way too much money. I'm all for the players, but a 62 game schedule, that's crazy. I'm already against cutting the back to backs. You know what I'm saying? You have to, as a player in the offseason, get yourself ready for the regular season by lifting weights, training, getting your conditioning up, and stuff like that. So cutting the back to backs to me was already crazy. But I get it. It's tough, but I get it. But still, you can cut the back to backs, but you got to keep 82 games. You can't cut the back to backs and cut the games to 62. I totally disagree with that. So hopefully the NBA won't do that one. Next thing. Okay, the Cowboys been struggling. I'm not a Cowboy fan. Y'all know I'm a Giants fan if you've been watching this joint. Should the Cowboys fire Jason Garrett? Me thinking as a Giants fan, keep him. Keep Jason Garrett. But me thinking as a sport fan, Jason Garrett should have been fired probably 3 years ago, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys have been nothing more than mediocre. And it seems like every year they got Super Bowl aspirations. But I'm thinking like maybe that's the old Cowboys. The old Cowboys, you had to be concerned with them when Jimmy Johnson had them, when Barry Switzer had them. You had to be concerned with them. The Tom Landry type, Cowboys. I'm old enough to remember Tom Landry as the coach. But I think that he should be gone. And I think he'll get another job. He can find a job within the organization. Jerry Jones has definitely looked out for him. He should have enough money saved up. He'll have the coach's pension and all that stuff. So don't feel sorry for Jason Garrett. And he can always go to college. You know what I'm saying? He can always go to college. Where I think that would be where he can make a great mark in college. Coming from the Cowboys, kids that know him in the state of Texas. If he went to one of those Texas schools, he could mop up on the recruiting. Put him a nice little staff together. So I think that Jason Garrett should probably take the college route. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And this is my show, so I make my opinion. All right. Next thing, Lamar Jackson has been nothing short of spectacular, unbelievable, all that. And this is a guy who the NFL wanted to turn into a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy to me. But Lamar Jackson yesterday was superb. Without him, the Ravens don't beat the 49ers. He made play after play after play with his arm, especially with his legs. It was raining out there, so he only threw for 100 and maybe 5 yards, but he ran for 101, one touchdown, threw for one touchdown. So Lamar Jackson has been nothing short of spectacular. I think the quarterback position is changing in the NFL. Like the days of the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Bradys, and there's nothing wrong with the guy. If you're going to have a guy like a Tom Brady who doesn't move well, then you better have a good offensive line that can block. All right, there's nothing wrong with those guys. But the defenses have gotten so fast that you have to have a quarterback that can move. You see, most of these quarterbacks today can move out of the pocket. They get out of the pocket, they can run. All of them are not quite as exciting as Lamar Jackson. I mean, even like Jimmy Garoppolo, he'll get out of there and run. Lamar Jackson, you have, Jameis Winston, you have Jacoby Brissett, you name it. The team, I think the Patriots might be one of the few teams that don't. I mean, even like Andrew Luck used to get out there and take off. So you have very few teams that I can think of that with quarterbacks that are not mobile. Tom Brady might be the most immobile quarterback out there. You know what I'm saying? But that's not a bad thing. But if you're going to have one of those quarterbacks that can't move, then you need to have a good offensive line. So next thing, college basketball is here in full effect. All right. Now, the Big Ten ACC Challenge is coming up. That looks like it's going to be something fun. The Big Ten looking good in basketball this year. And I am going to say my most surprising team so far this year is the University of Michigan. Proud of what my man Juwan Howard is doing. Long overdue. You know, long overdue for a guy like that, a guy who's played the game, who's been an assistant for years, you know, has paid his dues. You know, where you have these other guys that don't pay their dues and they get these coaching jobs. You know what I'm saying? Or they haven't played the game to understand the game, and they get these coaching jobs. So I'm pulling for Juwan Howard. Any former player that gets a head coaching job, I'm pulling for you, because there seems to be a stereotype where you know, they don't think that players that played can coach the game, which is crazy to me. But Michigan is my most surprising team. I'm pulling for Juwan Howard, and we'll see how it goes. The ACC will be kind of up in the air this year, I think. NC State will be decent. Picked to finish middle of the pack. Lost early to Georgia Tech. That was a bad loss, but we didn't have Markel Johnson there at the time. Still, no excuses, you know. But we'll see how this thing goes. You know, my Dan Levitard portion of the show, of course, you know, still talking about this impeachment thing. Like I said, if we're gonna get the guy out of here, let's vote him out. Don't want no excuses from the Republicans. Don't want no excuses from them. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll see how that goes. But you know, let's try to keep moving forward as a country. And it's been tough. It's been a tough 3.5 years or whatever it has been with this guy in the White House, the resident of the White House. You know what I'm saying? But that's it from me today. It's been a minute. I'm going to try to get on more often. I'm going to try to. I promise you that. But this your man signing out, your man Chucky B, a.k.a. Gypsy Hustle, a.k.a. Mr. Make You Smile, a.k.a. the Happy Hatter. Got my Hurricanes hat on just to show, you know, hey, the Hurricanes ain't what the Hurricanes used to be. All right? Signing out. Everybody have a beautiful day, man, and thank you again for watching. Peace.